Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm live. I'm coming to you live. Welcome. Who the hell am I? I'm Jan Anderson. I'm a voice actor. I live in the Pacific Northwest where it's gorgeous right now. Temps in the high 70s, probably, well, it's probably flirting with 80 degrees. It'll top out in the mid 80s today. Looking at 90 degrees tomorrow. That's plenty hot for me. That's if all summer long stayed in the mid to high 70s, that would just get the chef's kiss, but no, not all the time. But anyway, I digress. How are you? How's summer treating you? Are you having fun? Are you working on cool voiceover projects? Are you working towards getting a voiceover business up and running? Hope so. I just got a notification today that I've got a large script coming from one of my longtime clients on the topic of the lower GI tract. Perfect. I can't wait. I cannot wait to narrate all about the lower GI tract. It's kind of where I live, where my head is anyway. Well, it's because I'm a child. I'm a big child. Bathroom humor rules. Anyway, if you do come in, if anybody's watching, and if you want to chime in on the chat, please do. Please let me know where you're watching from, and if you have any questions or comments, that's one of the reasons why I'm here. So please fire away. But there is something I always try to have something else to talk about during these live sessions, and the thing that that's on my mind today. Actually, it just came to me a little while ago. I was going to talk about something else, but something else came to mind, and this is based upon my observations, like all this stuff about how we perceive people that we admire and their rise to stardom, so to speak. I watch all kinds of things on YouTube, on Instagram, a wide variety of things. I watch things from musicians, of course. I love musicians. I love my rock and roll. Cooking. I love watching things about cooking. I follow a lot of cooking shows. I watch guitar repair channels where you're just watching people repair problems with guitars, and they talk about what they're doing. And I just find that fascinating. I don't do that stuff, but I love to watch it, and I'd like to tinker around with that. I watch gardening channels, lawn care. I watch, did I say cooking already? Yeah, cooking. There are a couple guys on YouTube that I watch that trim cows' hooves. It's the weirdest thing, but man, I find it fascinating. These guys taking care of cows' feet, so anyway, I digress. So I watch a lot of different type of content, and I find inspiration in it all. And it reminded me, and I was watching something else today, and it was an interview between a woman I follow on YouTube and her coach, and how he has helped her to develop her business model and see tremendous growth and success in a very short period of time compared to the norm. So she's I would consider her to be sort of an outlier, but she is determined. She's like a bulldog going after a juicy bone. She's laser focused. She had lost her longtime career, or lost her job in a longtime career. She was frustrated, she was disillusioned, and needed a change. And so she decided on what she was going to do and started in on it. And because this was it, this needed to be her income. So she went all in. Luckily, she didn't have to rely on her income alone. She had a spouse who was also making an income. Anyway, so there was an interview between her and her coach, and I thought it was fascinating, and it just made me continue to think about this topic, and that is just the story behind the success that we see from the people that we admire. Whether it's, a musician or a chef or an actor or a hoof trimmer or a gardener or anybody that comes to your attention and you admire and you kind of wish that you could do what they do or would be interested in finding out more about how to go about doing the thing that they do because they make it look so effortless. It seems to come naturally. Their rise to stardom, or recognition at, at whatever stage it's at, it just seems to come out of nowhere. It's like, wow, you know, what can I do to gain that sort of almost immediate success with lots of money and freedom and all the power and whatever it is that turns you on about whoever it is that you're interested in. And particularly on social media, I know that this has always been the case, even with like, oh, I don't know, just thinking back through the years of tabloids and entertainment shows on TV. Once somebody all of a sudden seems to have a meteoric rise to stardom and all of a sudden they're in the public eye and well, that's the part that you're introduced to. That's the part that you are that's the narrative that is being pushed at you. But what's the backstory? What's their life really like? What was it like before they got to where they are now? How much effort did they have to put into their career or their field of study or whatever it is that they do to be able to do what they do now? And that's the part that's missing that for so many of us. Um, like for instance, one of the people I like to follow is a cookie baker. She's a one woman business. She has a husband who does something else, but she decided to start a cookie company. She now has a couple of employees. She rents out space in a commercial kitchen 2 days a week. She's kicking butt, but that's what drew me to her. That part of her story. But what's behind the story? Well, turns out she's a young woman too. I can't believe that she's any older than 30, if that. But what's her backstory? Well, turns out that she spent years, um, it started out with a love for cooking, just a natural born passion. Coming into cooking with her family, that grew into having part-time jobs in high school in commercial kitchens, even washing dishes and stuff like that. Turns out after high school, she went to culinary school, kicked butt in that, then worked in as a sous chef and did all these other things in well-regarded restaurants in various positions. And then she got sick of that part of the business and thought, "Oh God, well, that's it. I'm done." But then, hey, I'm really damn good at making cookies. And so spark and the business took off. So that's just one example. There's such a backstory. Most of the time, most of the time, there are outliers that just something clicks and they're in the right place at the right time with the right set of skills and they just blow up immediately, seemingly. But for 99% of the time, there is so much work that goes into the success that you then later see. Years. And that made me think of, hello, voice acting. Unfortunately, there's a perception that what we do is easy and that success can come easily. It doesn't cost any money to get into it. This is the thought process. It costs very little money to get into, and there's so much money to be made for everybody. No, that's not the case. See, this is where this is the part where perception does not equal reality. For those of us that do this full time and are fortunate enough to be able to do this for a living, No, there's years. There's there's years. First, for most of us, it started with a passion at somewhere along the line. Passion, that's gotta fuel it. If you don't really care, then you're gonna give up easier. But if you're passionate about something, to keep doing it even when you're struggling, not making any money, while you're still pushing, pushing, pushing for something, something's gotta drive you. Maybe it's maybe it's the thought of the success that will come. Maybe that's what's driving you. But without some kind of passion and love for whatever it is that you're doing, you're gonna give up. Well, I shouldn't say that. Chances are much greater that you will give up rather than stick it out through the hard times and push forward, until you're successful. That's tough, and I've mentioned in other videos that I have tinkered with other business ideas, including a cookie company, and others. Um, the passion's there, but for one reason or another, things didn't pan out. I did the research. I looked into commercial kitchen spaces and that kind of thing, and one thing just led me to another, and I made the decision not to go that route. But so this is where this what am I trying to say here? I keep changing my focus. How unusual for me. This is where the preparation and the time you put into it and the passion, it all has to be there in order to see success. And your success probably will not be meteoric. It will not explode like a huge firework in the sky. It'll be a grind a lot of the time. And then when you finally get there and people say, "Wow, you know, it sounds like you're great. You're doing great." And then you say, "Well, yeah, you know, yeah, things are going okay." You know, you just because you think about all the work that's gone into it, all the backstory to the success. That's just what I want you to keep in mind when you're seeing little glimpses of people you admire, whether it's in voiceover or something else. Even the little kids playing guitar on Instagram or something, or piano, they're amazing musicians and they're kids. Well, for better or for worse, hundreds or thousands of hours have gone into the performance that you just watched and were amazed by, you know. It's the work, it's the backstory to the success, okay? So, my word of encouragement for you is to whatever it is that you're going into, whether and hopefully it's voiceover. I'm assuming that you're interested in voiceover if you're watching this channel, and my, word of inspiration to you is, um, lean on your passion. Know that it's not going to come immediately. And follow the steps, follow the advice that is reasonable and achievable, one step at a time. Focus on one step at a time. It's really hard to look at somebody you admire and say, "That's what I want. That's my goal." Well, no, you gotta start down here first. You gotta work up to it. It's gonna take some time, but hang in there. Go through find out what the people you admire, find out what they did to get where they are and mimic the same thing. Things may have changed over time, maybe they're different or better paths or a more modified path. Everybody's path is different, but use it as inspiration, use it as a launching point to get where you want to go. Who did they study with? Who did their demos? Um, what books did they read? You know, that kind of thing. Anyway, um, that's it for me. I'm gonna sign off, and I've got an audition to get to right now, and then and then who knows? Maybe I'll do the dishes or do some marketing. That's what I should do. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you're well, and hope you'll join me again next time. Remember, Tuesday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. And feel free to leave a message or a comment or a question or anything for me. I love interacting with people and to try to help them along in their careers. Okay, so that's it for me. Take care.